Coming up on Trailblazer Weekly, we've got broken records, upcoming conference tournaments, and a huge regular season finale series. We get you up to date on everything going on in Trailblazer athletics. We'll also chat with women's tennis head coach Eric Pelton and freshman Isabel Jerez about the team's RMAC title.
Plus, things are bound to go wrong from time to time when you're on live television. And today we look back and bring you the 2018-19 Trailblazer Weekly Gag Reel, where we take a look at the funniest happenings here on the set at Trailblazer Weekly.
It's all coming up next. Trailblazer Weekly starts right now.
Live from the CEC studio at Dixie State University, it's Trailblazer Weekly with Carrick Segmiller. And Drayson Ball. This is Trailblazer Weekly.
We are live inside the CEC TV studios on the Community Education Channel, the Dixie State Athletics YouTube page, and Radio Dixie 91.3 FM with another edition of Trailblazer Weekly. I'm Carrick Segmiller, and joining me as always is Drayson Ball.
Carrick, I'm looking forward to the third segment of the day where we're going to look back at the 2018-19 Gag Reel here on Trailblazer Weekly, the funniest moments, bloopers, outtakes, and whatever our great team here at TEC has concocted up. I know yesterday we did a little bit of kind of intros to that little gag reel. Won't spoil too much. We've never even seen it. We have no idea what's on it. They've concocted this over the full year that we've been doing this, the 28 episodes as it is today that we've been doing the show this year. And so I'm excited to get to that, and not only that, the other amazing events we had happen over the weekend.
Like you said, that we have no idea what's coming. We had a little get together yesterday to celebrate the end of the season. We are going to shoot for one more episode next week. We're going to try to do a top 10 plays of the year for you. But this is kind of our season finale, if you will. Next week we'll cover the RMAC tournament and baseball series at Colorado Mesa. But then we'll take a lot of time on that top 10 and just have some fun with it. But we wanted to take a look back at a lot of the funny things that happen, because you learn very quickly on live television. When we first started the show, when I started this job 4 years ago, I was terrified at the thought of doing a live show. And so we taped everything out. You learn very quickly that you just, if you mess up, if you have a flub, you have to just roll with it. And there have been plenty of those this year, and we've had fun with those, behind the scenes, off the air. So we want to share some of those with you. My only question is, how did they narrow it down to a 12 to a 15-minute segment that we have allotted for that third segment? Because there was a lot of them. I have my guesses of a few that might end up on there, but
and it's not just about stuff that happened on the show.
No.
We've shot promos and behind the scenes and that kind of stuff, and it's during that filming of that kind of downtime where we're not actually taping the promo. They've also got video of those kind of behind the scene moments just between you and I that who knows, I can't even remember back into October, November, December, back to the first couple episodes. So it's going to be really fun and really exciting.
We had a golf promo that we shot that I shouldn't admit this, but the putt that I made, we lost count. You and Trey Davis, our great, I don't want to call him an intern, our great worker this year that's helped produce this show and done great work for us. By the end of that day, you guys were ready to just pull the plug and say, hey, we got to stop. We can cut it together and post. And I said, no, I'm going to make the putt. And eventually I did. So maybe something like that will make its way on. We don't know. But there was a lot of funny things that happened right here on this set too. So if it's just limited to those on the set, man, there's still plenty.
I know that they won't be able to fit all those putts into that 12 to 15 minute segment. So it's going to have to be some sort of a time lapse or something like that. So
well, let's jump into our weekend recap. If we take too much long talking about it right now, we won't have time to actually look at those funny moments later. So let's jump into our weekend recap, because also we've got to have time for head coach Eric Pelton and freshman Isabel Jerez of the RMAC champion women's tennis team. They're coming up next here on Trailblazer Weekly. So let's talk tennis. We start in Grand Junction, Colorado with the women's tennis team as they headed to Colorado in the 2019 RMAC tournament in search of its first ever conference championship, and that is exactly what the Trailblazers found. Started things on Friday with a 4-2 win over Colorado Mesa, and then wrapped up the title with a 4-2 win over MSU Denver on Saturday. Should note, it was the fourth time they played Colorado Mesa. We talked about it with Coach Pelton last week. The scoring format is you don't just call it a Division I scoring format now because all the NCAA divisions 1, 2, and 3 follow the scoring format. The doubles matches are decided as one decision. So if you win 2 out of 3 doubles matches, you get 1 point. So Dixie State actually lost the doubles point on Friday and then rallied to win 4 of the 6 singles matches in that game. It came down to co-freshman of the year, Isabel Harris, clinching it at number 3 singles. She gets the win. That propels them into Saturday, where they won the doubles point against MSU Denver, which is exactly what they did in Denver against the Roadrunners on April 6th. But that day, MSU Denver came back to win the match. Saturday, Dixie State would not let that happen. There were some tense moments as MSU Denver won the first 2 singles matches to take a 2-1 lead. Juliana Onxaruk, won at number 6 singles to tie it back at 2-2, and then from there on it was Dixie State all the way. Isabel Harris, another comeback win down to the wire at number 3 to clinch the match. And they win the title, their first ever conference title. And it was a great year for Dixie State and women's tennis team. A lot of accolades, winning the conference title. Coach Pelton was named the coach of the year before they went. Yelena Carlin, Kira Harames, and Megan Lynch, all on the RMAC first team. Isabel Harris was on the second team, as well as being named co-freshman of the year. Yelena Carlin just today received first team academic All-RMAC honors. What a year for this Trailblazer tennis team. They seem like they've been building up to this. And I'm just super happy for Coach Pelton and his players to be able to have this success. 13-4 on the year, RMAC champions.
Yeah, I mean, it really was no surprise that they were able to do this. I mean, coming from a position where you had to beat Colorado Mesa for a 4th time, which is always difficult, whether it be basketball, baseball, tennis, whatever sport, it's tough to beat a competitor 4 consecutive times in the same year. And then playing a team like MSU Denver, who they had lost to earlier in the season, and to come out kind of against adversity, being down 2-1 early in that match, and then to be able to rally and come back and clinch the RMAC championship. I mean, it was one of those things that, you texted me after it happened and said, I think we're going to have to do an extra show just because of all the things that, has happened this week. And we'll get to some of those a little bit later on. But this was kind of the main one that you led with, is saying, hey, the tennis team won the RMAC tournament. And, like I said, it didn't really come to a surprise to me, because we have, talked to some of the players and coaches throughout this season, and really it's come to one of those things that we've kind of expected this to happen for a while. Played tremendous all season, and it's really one of those things that you can come in a brand new conference for the first year and have a kind of a semi introduction to that conference by winning the conference title, like you mentioned. Isabel Harris winning and clinching that RMAC championship for the Trailblazers. Other winners, Megan Lynch defeated Olivia Kaiser, and then like you mentioned, Juliana Honsarak was able to win there as well, plus the doubles match, and really just a tremendous season for this tennis team.
No doubt. And we have a whole segment to talk to Coach Pelton and Isabel about that, and we'll talk to Isabel specifically about, she was actually, so in the conference championship match at number 3 singles, you look at that, and she dropped the first set 4-6, came back and won the second set 6-3, and then was actually down. What you don't actually see these things. You have to talk to the coaches and players who are there to get this kind of breakdown on the match. In that decisive third set, she was down 3-0. You got to win, 6 sets to win the set, or 6 games to win the set. She was down 3-0 and then 5-2, and then rattled off 5 straight wins in games to win it 7-5 in that third set. Something just clicked. We'll ask her about that exactly. Just a phenomenal finish. Fantastic. Congratulations to the women's tennis team. RMAC champions in what will actually be, at least for the foreseeable future, the final RMAC championship in women's tennis. They're dropping the sport as a conference after this year because there's only 4 teams. You have to have 6 to have the auto bid into the NCAA regionals. And so since there's only 4 teams, they're not sponsoring it as a sport anymore. They did that with men's tennis last year. So congratulations. Dixie State will go down in history as the final RMAC champion in women's tennis.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's one of those things where, you come to expect it with such a good team and a well-coached team like this women's tennis team. Let's move on over to the diamond now, as the baseball team closed out its home schedule with a 4-game series versus Colorado Christian. Carrick, they did just what we thought they would do. They came out with a 4-game sweep over Colorado Christian. A 12-4 victory in Game 1, followed by a 7-6 win in Game 2, 8-4 in Game 3, and then wrapped it up their senior day with an 8-2 victory to finish up their home slate. Now they go on to face Colorado Christian, but first things first, they took care of business. A couple weeks ago on the show, we said they had two teams coming in Regis and in Colorado Christian, two teams that are near the bottom of the RMAC conference standings, where they could potentially win 7 or 8 games, and they did just that and put themselves in a good position to be able to go into Colorado Mesa and compete for a higher spot. You know, Wyatt Branch was just tremendous throughout this series, batted .456, 5 for 9, led the team with 3 doubles, 6 RBIs, and then Jaden Murray. He's been tremendous all season long. We've talked about him several times on this show. The RMAC best 9th win of the season, and then he also broke the DSU single season strikeout record with 78 such strikeouts, with the 6 strikeouts he had in that Game 1 victory. Trailblazers are in a great position right now to go into Colorado Mesa next weekend and potentially come out with some crucial victories.
You hit the nail on the head there, and we can talk a little bit more about baseball in our weekend preview. But like you mentioned, Colorado Mesa is 26-6 overall. Colorado are in the conference. Colorado School of Mines 23-9. Dixie State at 22-10. So mathematically, Dixie State is still able to host that RMAC tournament. But a lot of things have to happen. You have to sweep Colorado Mesa this weekend, and then you need Colorado School of Mines to lose 2 games this weekend. I believe they play on the shoot Denver. You need them to lose 2 games in that series. Trailblazers would have an opportunity to host after that. You mentioned Jaden Murray. Also want to mention Wyatt Branch. He hit .556, 5 for 9, led the team with 3 doubles. He's one of those seniors, so congratulations to him. He had 6 RBI in that weekend. And I don't want to feel like we're just glossing over baseball and jumping right to softball, but you mentioned something with Jaden Murray and the fact that he set the DSU single season strikeout record. He's got 78 strikeouts on the season right now. How often do you have a baseball player and a softball player on this, not even the same weekend, but the same day, set a single season strikeout record? Not often, but it happened with Dixie State on this last Friday. The softball team went to Fort Lewis for their final 4-game series of the season. They swept the series, but in that first game, in that win in Game 1, Cambry Hazel had 13 strikeouts and passed Aaron Fikert to become the single-season strikeout leader for the softball team. She would add 6 strikeouts in her start on Saturday, so she currently sits with 192 strikeouts for the season this year. I mean, that's phenomenal. We were talking about it right before the show started, and I mentioned the words. I literally uttered the words, yeah, on Saturday she only had 6 strikeouts. And you said, only? She only had 6 strikeouts? And I said, well, you have so many games. She had 9 games this season of double-digit strikeouts, 10 or more strikeouts. You come to expect every time she steps out into the circle that she's going to have double-digit strikeouts. You hope that she can conjure up some of that magic this weekend in Grand Junction.
Yeah, she was absolutely tremendous over the weekend, and not only that, the Trailblazers' bats came to life. The whole team as a whole just allowed 1 run throughout the 4 games against Fort Lewis. Cambry Hazel, like you mentioned, was just absolutely phenomenal. Hopefully she's hitting her peak as we're going into the postseason, because the Trailblazers desperately need a deep playoff run if they want to even get in, and for sure to want to get in to win the RMAC tournament. They'll probably need to do that or make some sort of a deep run and maybe see if they can get in on that 8th spot in the region rankings there. Cambry Hazel, like I mentioned, 14 innings pitched over the 2 games, allowed just 7 hits, and like you said, 19 strikeouts and 4 walks. So she's hitting her stride. Carissa Burgess, don't want to leave her out as well. She pitched in Game 2 and in Game 4 of that series. She was just unbelievable as well. Like I mentioned, that was the only run scored was in Game 2 of that series. And like I said, both pitchers over the weekend were just tremendous, and if that's what the Trailblazers can have going forward, we know what their offense can do. We know that their bats can be tremendous at times, and they can score 10 runs with the best of them. And if their pitching is as good as it was this weekend, going into the RMAC conference tournament, I love where they're at if they want to go ahead and win that one to get a for sure automatic bid into the postseason.
Yeah, and they'll have a little chip on their shoulders. I thought maybe they'd move into number 8 in that region ranking. They moved to number 9. St. Mary's out of the Heartland Conference moved up to 7. And then I got to thinking, you know what, that's okay, because number 8 is Angelo State out of the Lone Star Conference. Don't ask me why the Lone Star Conference needs 6 teams in the top 8. Those aren't, don't feel that those are quite right, but we won't go any further than that. but it's still okay for Dixie State because with St. Mary's at number 7, you've got to have someone come out of the Heartland Conference. You've got in the South Central, the RMAC, the Lone Star, and the Heartland Conference. The committee of the NCAA softball has decided that the Lone Star Conference has the toughest strength of schedule, way over the Heartland and the RMAC, and that shows just by simply having 6 teams in the top 8. Angelo State is now at number 8. They have to play West Texas A&M, who is number 3 in the South Central region, in the first game of their conference tournament on Friday. Should they lose that game at the number 8 spot, I know they sometimes say too that the conference tournament games don't play as much of an importance or significance than regular season games. But if they were to lose that first game and Dixie State were to go on a run, say make it to the championship round of the RMAC tournament, I could still see without winning the tournament, Trailblazers moving into that 8 spot. But they don't want to leave it to any question. They want to go and they want to win in the RMAC tournament this weekend. They'll play UCCS on Colorado Springs on Thursday at 8:30 a.m. So if you're going to get your full pregame routine in, you got to get up super early to be to the park a couple hours early still. Should also mention 5 Trailblazers landing softball all RMAC honors. Jessica Gonzalez, the only first team. Cambry Hazel, second team. What? How is she not on the first team? And then Bailey Gaffin, Caitlin DeLange, Danny Barthoff. No, not second teamers. Honorable mention. As I mentioned, Dixie State will have a little bit of a chip on its shoulder heading to Grand Junction.
Kind of like their chances with the way they're playing right now. But as we roll down into the final section of this opening segment, let's run, no pun intended, or maybe pun intended, over to the track now as women's track team competed in the RMAC Championships in South Dakota. And what a finish to the season it was. Billy Hatch earns victory in the 10,000 meter, coming in second in the 5,000 meter, but the remarkable story of the day was that she came in first place in that 10,000 meter just 1 week after shattering the previous record in the 10,000 meters. She wins the race with a time of 36 minutes, 1 second, and 1 minute and 15 seconds, marking the first ever victory at a conference championship meet in program history. Obviously, just a few short years this program has been in existence, but a tremendous weekend for Billy Hatch, and just one of those things that, like you said, is really special because she's worked all season long and has really been improving each and every meet. When she shattered the 10,000 meter record last week, we were very hopeful that she could go in and do the same thing at the RMAC Conference Championships, and she did just that. And again, like you mentioned, we were texting back and forth, and these two things, this and the tennis, happened kind of simultaneously, pretty close to one another, and it was really kind of special to be able to say, hey, this is what the Trailblazers did this season, and really was pretty special to have both these things happen within a short period of time.
Well, absolutely, and she's just pumped about the first place finish in the 10K. She was probably equally as ticked off about the second place finish in the 5K, because I know how competitive she is. Second place is, it's nothing to sneeze at. It's nothing, but Skylar Story at the conference tournament, the Pac West last year, she had a top 3 finish. She won a medal I think in the 10K last year. And for Billy Hatch to build on what Skylar Story, kind of the foundation that Skylar and her teammates laid in the last couple of years. This is only the 3rd year of this track program's existence, and you've got people winning events already. You're going to see this program grow and grow and grow, especially as Dixie State goes Division I, attracts Division I type talent, which we already have some of that here. You can see that, with Billy Hatch, and even hometown cannot forget to mention Celeste Fiammi. She places 3rd in the javelin, wins the bronze medal, and in the process sets the program record, 39.90 meters on that throw. It was her last throw of the day. You heard Coach Decker last week say that the numbers that she's been putting up here are not even quite to where she was throwing in high school. This is closer, right around that 40-meter mark. And so congratulations to her. Krista Elias also had a 7th place finish in that event with a personal best toss of 34.46 meters. And then we also want to give a shout out to the 4x400 relay team breaking the DUSU record in the event. Rebecca Anderson, Abby Smith, Rachel Reeder, and Jada Edwards combined to post that time of 4:18.80 in that event. And you've been seeing, for you TV and internet viewers, pictures of these those 3 events and their competitors in those events. But a great weekend. They did exactly what they wanted to do in terms of, Billy Hatch having a big weekend, Celeste having a big weekend. She's setting some other personal bests and breaking some school records. And they placed ninth, scored either 27 or 28 team points as a team without competing in nearly as many events as the top 5 teams in the conference. So things are they're on the up and up, and they can only get better for Dixie State Track.
Yeah, tremendous season. Congratulations to Billy Hatch and to all those others who placed placed high in those events. And like I said, just a tremendous season for all those competitors.
We should mention Billy is on pace to qualify for nationals in the 10K. We mentioned last week, I believe, still her time 12th out of 21 in those NCAA provisional times in the 10K. Coach Decker says she's close on the 5K as well, and it may even possibly get into a last chance race somewhere between now and nationals to go and compete in the 5K and try to cut some time off that 5K time. So congratulations to Coach Decker and Billy, Celeste, and the members of the 4x400 relay team and all the members of the track team for a great weekend. That wraps up our weekend recap. We got to take a quick break. When we come back, the RMAC champions, head coach Eric Pelton of the women's tennis team, as well as freshman of the year Isabel Harris, will join us right here on Trailblazer Weekly. Don't go anywhere.
Radio Dixie 91.3. We don't play that. Nope, not that. The big fat no there. That's what we play. And stuff like that. On St. George's only alternative, Radio Dixie 91.3. Oh, and from 9 till midnight, we play this. And this. Radio Dixie 91.3 FM.
Man, where's Carrick? The show's about to start.
Carrick Stegmiller approaches his ball after a beautiful approach shot. This ball landed about 12, 13 feet away as he lines up the putt. He'll have this one for birdie.
Hey, have any of you guys seen Carrick?
I think it was that way.
Stegmiller eyes his ball as he lines it up. Again, this putt for birdie will win the tournament. He steps to his ball. The putt's on its way. It's got the right speed. It's in! Carrick Stegmiller for birdie to win the tournament as the crowd goes wild. He is celebrating. He is ecstatic.
Yeah. Oh, Carrick, we got shooting in like 5 minutes. Let's go.
Come on, man. I'm just playing some golf.
Let's go.
Trailblazer Weekly is presented by the Dixie State Campus Store, the official store for Trailblazer and Dixie State clothing, as well as cheap textbooks, discounted computers, and supplies for students. They're located in the second floor of the Gardner Center and are open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. during the week. Closed on Saturdays and Sundays? You can stop by any time because they'll be loaded with great Trailblazer swag all the time.
The women's tennis team headed to Grand Junction with the RMAC title on the line last week, and the Trailblazers brought home the trophy. Here to help us recap the weekend is head coach Eric Pelton and freshman of the year Isabel Harris. Guys, thanks so much for joining us on Trailblazer Weekly.
It's good to be here.
It looks like we
brought something.
You brought a little bit of the hardware back.
Yeah,
The RMAC Conference Championship tournament right there, getting a close up. Let's see if
Look at that thing.
We can get a close up on
There
that.
it is.
Right there.
Number one. Ball number one.
Ball number one. Goodness gracious. Thanks for bringing that along. That just sets the tone for this interview. RMAC champions. We could just leave it at that. Can we go to break now after that?
Quite a piece of hardware there. Congratulations, guys. Honestly, a very tremendous season and culminating with a championship at the RMAC Conference Championships there. And congratulations, like I said, it's good to have you both here. We'll start with you, Coach. Maybe just give us kind of a general kind of recap over the weekend. Obviously, you go in, you defeat Colorado Mesa 4 games to 2, or 4 matches to 2, I guess I should say. And then you finished up with a win over MSU Denver 4 matches to 2 as well. And that one, just kind of give us a general recap on what happened over the weekend.
Obviously it was a great weekend. Everything kind of came together, kind of how we'd hoped and kind of planned and drew it up. And so, we came in against Colorado Mesa. Again, knowing that it was going to be a good match. We played them 3 times already, but they'd always been close. They'd been tight matches, and so, we just wanted to come in and make sure that we were still ready and taking care of business. And, And we did. I think for the third time in a row, Isabel was able to clinch Colorado Mesa at the number 3 singles spot to give us the win there. It was a little more breathing room this time than the week before when we were kind of barely a couple points away, but so that was good. And then like I say, we moved on to the championship. The girls were feeling good. They knew what they needed to do, and like I say, they really just went out and took care of business. It was awesome. It was a great experience just to kind of be there and take it in as they went out and took care of business.
Obviously a very special weekend. Talk about a little bit in that Colorado Mesa match. You were down 1-0 after the doubles, and you really kind of went out there and dominated during singles play. Talk a little bit about kind of your mindset after going down 1-0 in points after losing the doubles matches. And kind of what was your mindset going into those singles matches?
Well, going in, I mean, we and we even talked about it. I mean, Colorado Mesa is strong in the doubles, but we've always kind of known that we do have the edge in the singles, and so obviously we just kind of talked about the fact that we've been here before, because that was kind of the third match where they'd picked up the doubles point, so we kind of knew what we needed to do and where we needed to go, and again the girls kind of took care of business and. And then we picked up some good wins. I mean, Juliana played really great at number 6. Picked up an even easier win there than she did the week before. So I think she kind of really exerted her dominance in that position. And and then like I say, we also picked up some great wins. Yelena came through this time at number 1 and was able to pick up the win there, which was a great win. And then Isabel with another big win, and so it was just exciting. I mean, we knew that it was probably going to come down to those singles matches again, and we just kind of were able to move through it with and it was good. They got challenged, they got pushed, which I think really just kind of helped prepare them for Saturday. Instead of just kind of having an easier match, it really kind of set the tone for them.
We're chatting here on Trailblazer Weekly with women's tennis head coach Eric Pelton and freshman of the year Isabel Harris. And Isabel, let's bring you into the interview. We're talking about the Colorado Mesa match first. I think we're going to slide that trophy a little bit out of the way. Maybe we can just bring it off the table too, and then we'll throw it back up there later so that we can get a good look at Isabel over there without having to look through that trophy. But talking about that Colorado Mesa match first, you win the first set 6-3, and then the second set. This is singles play. Goes into the tiebreak. It's 7-6 or 6-6 is what it must have been, and then you go into the tiebreak.
Yeah.
You win the tiebreak. What's going on? What's going through your mind as you start the tiebreak and as you're leading up to that tiebreak win?
I was thinking I beat her before. I could do it again. There's nothing really stopping me. I know how she plays, so I just have to think of a way to play the same way as I did to beat her again.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. That's great. And Coach was telling me that court that you won on is basically they might as well etch your name, engrave your name in that court because you've played on that court so many times now, and had to come back or had tiebreak victories. Or is there something about that particular court you're just comfortable on? You're going to hit the shots when you need to.
I just like the court. That's my court. I've been playing there since we first played there, and I just got comfortable with that court. And yeah.
That's good. You marked your territory. The first time you said there, I said, this is mine. You put your tennis racket down on the court and said, this will be my court. Congratulations on those wins. That's awesome. We're going to talk about the rest of the weekend here. So we're just talking about Mesa still. 4th win over Colorado Mesa this season. I've talked to Coach about this plenty, Isabel, but what was it like for you as a player and your teammates to know, goodness gracious, we just beat them. We beat them in conference play. Now we just beat them again on here in this same place the week before. Now we got to go back and play Colorado Mesa again. Was it exciting to go and play them again, or we just decided to get through and have another shot at MSU Denver?
For myself and a couple of other players, they were quite nervous because they beat them already, and they were scared that the circumstance wouldn't be the same because we beat them so many times and they lost, meaning they have an advantage as to they can't lose anything. So they should be more fired up. But I feel like we were better than them. We were more stronger mentally, and we overcame that and beat them in the end.
Let's transition into the main event, really Saturday against MSU Denver. Coach, kind of just almost the opposite from playing Mesa, where in Mesa you lost the doubles match. Here you win the doubles match, but then you immediately lose 2 of the first singles matches and found yourself trailing once again. That's kind of the same thing that happened with you in Denver back on April 6th earlier in the season. Kind of what was your team able to do to kind of keep from losing to them again and kind of rally back in that sort of fashion after winning the doubles, and then you lose 2 of the first singles, and then you rally back to win? Kind of what was your team able to do during that time?
Like I said, yeah, I mean, it was kind of a little different scenario, obviously. We knew, the doubles point was going to be really important, kind of like how we got it last time, because, Metro is quite a bit stronger in their singles, and so we knew that was definitely going to be a little bit more of a fight, and so, but getting that doubles point was huge, closing that out, moving forward. Again, they picked up 2 quick singles points, at 2 and 5, to jump ahead. We actually dropped the first set in, with Isabel in 3 singles and 4 singles. So again, there was obviously a little bit of nerves and things going on, but Julie was playing amazing at 6 singles. Yelena had picked up the first set at 1 singles, where she'd lost in straight sets last time. But again, I knew, with where we were, and again, especially with Megan at 4 singles and Isabel, at 3 singles, even losing that first set, I knew, we're not out of this yet. We're not in a bad position, because, anything can happen, and so for them to really kind of then, Julie picked up that singles point at 6, which was big, because, we didn't get that one last time. So now, we're like, okay, that's 1 point we didn't get last time. Last time we were only 1 point away, and it just kind of started coming together as Megan came back and kind of stormed through the second and third set, and then, Isabel, do we want to get into the whole dramatics of that one yet? Is it go time? Is that the next question?
So Drayson's going to ask that question next. So
let's jump right into it. I don't want to get into it too early.
Well, let's not.
I saw you looking over my shoulder.
Let's not waste any more time as we're chatting with head coach Eric Pellin and Isabel Harris, freshman of the year of the women's tennis team. Let's talk about you first, coach, and then we'll jump in to get Isabel's thoughts on it. But as you're watching, Isabel goes down 0-3 in the match in that
third set.
In the third set, 0-3 in the third set. It gets it back. It's still 2-5 after a couple sets later, and then finally rifles off 5 consecutive sets to win it 7-5. What was your kind of mindset as you're kind of watching her, and she's again in the position where she's the one that needs to win in order for you to clinch the championship? Kind of what's your mindset going through that match?
Going into it, obviously I know that she's capable of it. She played, strong in that second set, won that second set pretty easily. I think it was just, I think kind of, a little bit of nerves. She may have just kind of lost focus for a little bit. But then, like I said, really you can't really write it any better than it kind of played out. She was down. And then, her back was against the wall, and I think she kind of realized that. But then I think, as we kind of worked through it, she also kind of realized, like I told her, I was like, you can do this. You have the shots, you have the game, and that's, really kind of what the whole weekend was indicative of is the girls realized, we can do this. We've got the ability to do it, and she just, I think stopped thinking or stopped worrying about everything and just started playing, just played her game, and just was able to come back from 2-5, and just really kind of rolled off, 5 straight games to clinch it. Which, it was, we went from, we're kind of in a tough situation. We weren't, we knew we weren't too bad because Yelena was still playing and she'd won the first set. She was down in the second set, but we still only needed 1 out of those 2 matches, but. We went from, kind of being, kind of tight to literally it was just, felt like, probably not for Isabel, but felt like almost just a couple minutes later, we went from 2-5 to the match is over and we're champions. And it was just like, it was just such a quick turnaround. It was, couldn't really believe it happened that quickly.
But let's get your thoughts on that, Isabel. I mean, Coach, described it. It's probably a lot easier said than done as we talk about it. But I mean, you rattle off 5 games in a row. I mean, I can't even think of winning one. I can't get the ball to the net one time, but that you win 5 games in a row to close out the match. What clicked? And Coach said that you kind of just started believing in yourself and hitting the shots you could hit. But in your mind, what was it that clicked down 2-5 in that third set that helped you win those 5 games in a row?
I feel like I stopped thinking about winning. I was so focused on winning the first and second set that I didn't focus on hitting my shots and going for the shots I want to go for. So the third set, when I was down 2-5, I just focused on going for my forehand and not bumping my backhand, going to the volleys when I could. It's just focusing on me than on winning. I think that's what happened.
And that's incredible. Yeah. I mean, to win 5 games in a row is amazing. And one thing that we're not, we haven't mentioned yet to this point, and maybe this is something that us media types like to bring up more than you really think about it, but the girl that you beat in that match was who you shared the co-freshman of the year award with. So in my recap that night, I basically wrote that the debate was settled. Isabel Harris was the freshman of the year. So that was it even sweeter knowing that you had beaten someone that you had to share an award with?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about in the first 2 sets. That's why I was so focused on winning, because I knew I was playing the person I was sharing the award with. And in the third set, I was like, I'm going to stop thinking about all this stuff. I'm just going to play my game.
Well, Isabel, describe the moments right after. I mean, I wasn't there, so I don't know if it was the shot maybe that you hit or if the shot. Describe to us the final point and then the moments after, the chaos that probably ensued.
I don't really remember the rally, but I remember I was up in the net and I hit a short ball and she hit in the net, and then after I won the point. It was just so much joy because I just won 5 games in a row, and my team just came running to the court, and yeah, I just started crying.
That's all right. That's tears of joy. That was one of those. There's a short list of times when it says it is okay to cry in this situation, and that is certainly one.
Those are the good tears. The bad tears were when I was down love 3, and I was crying in the back fence. Yeah.
Congratulations. That's just awesome.
Tremendous season. I mean, obviously, we can't congratulate you enough, Coach. You win Coach of the Year, then you win the conference title. I mean, I can't imagine that this would rank anywhere below the #1 kind of season or team that you've ever coached. Just talk a little bit about kind of the season as a whole. Again, you brought home Coach of the Year and you brought home a conference title. Talk about kind of just that and the whole season in general.
Yeah, I mean, I knew coming in, I knew this was going to be a good year for us. I didn't necessarily know it was going to be this good, so I mean, we had high expectations and goals, and but yeah, coming in, I mean, we had a great season, won a lot of good matches, a lot of close matches that kind of like this Metro one that the girls were able to kind of pull out. But yeah, I mean, it's been a good ride these last few months as we've just kind of grown and progressed and picked up some good wins, and just really kind of riding into the conference tournament. We knew we had a shot. I mean, we knew from the beginning that it was possible. We just had to put it all together, and it's been incredible. I mean, it started just on our drive to Colorado, to Grand Junction on Thursday. I mean, with the
which drive? To Grand Junction. No.
Yeah, which one? One of the 5. No, so, but I mean, with and I think it also helped with the girls, with a lot of their, the first team, I mean, with Yo on there and and Kira and Megan. I mean, we pick up 4 out of the 6, 7 first team, RMAC and and a lot of those awards, and Isabel picking up Freshman of the Year. I mean, I think that night and all that just kind of led into them really kind of not only realizing it, but believing it and putting into practice, who they are and what they're capable. So, yeah, it's I don't know that there's been a better couple days or weekend in the eyes of Dixie State tennis.
That's awesome. Congratulations. First of all, we're running short on time, so we got to run, but we got to throw that back out on the table. And Dixie State women's tennis, RMAC conference champions for the 2019 season, 13-4 overall. You count the fall matches, the spring matches, 13 wins. to just 4 losses, tying the most wins in single-season history. I believe it was the 13-14 team, or one of those teams had 13 wins as well, but definitely the highest winning percentage this program has ever seen. So congratulations to Coach and to Isabel for a fantastic season. And, we're still knocking on wood that maybe your name will show up on Selection Sunday or Monday or whenever that is. But if it doesn't, all the best to you, and just congratulations, and build on this for next year. So.
Yeah, definitely. We're excited. We're moving forward.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
We got to run to a break. When we come back from that break, the moment you've all been waiting for, we take a look back and see the funniest moments that have happened on Trailblazer Weekly this year. I almost fell over backwards just now before this interview started. I'm glad that I didn't, mostly because they wouldn't have had time to get that in the blooper reel. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to take a look at some of the funniest moments on Trailblazer Weekly from the year. So don't go anywhere. We've got a ton more right here on the show.
You find the titans of classical music in St. George. Classical music on Radio St. George, 100.3 FM. Where do you find the legends of jazz? Evenings on Radio St. George, 100.3 FM.
Lunchtime. I'm starving.
Yeah, me too. Hey, Carrick, have you heard about the most exciting new thing on campus this semester?
Oh, you must be talking about the new grandstand addition on the east side of Trailblazer Stadium.
No, man, that's actually not what I'm talking about.
Oh, you must be referring to the new Human Performance Center they're building on campus.
Well, that's a good guess, Carrick, but nope, wrong again.
Oh, I know. You mean that this is the first season for Dixie State as a full member in the RMAC?
All the things are really exciting, Carrick, but the most exciting new thing on campus is the new Trailblazer Weekly show every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on CEC TV, the Dixie State Athletics YouTube page, and on Radio Dixie 91.3 FM.
You're right. That is more exciting. Trailblazer Weekly, every Wednesday at 3 p.m. beginning on August 29th on CEC TV, Dixie State Athletics YouTube page, and Radio Dixie 91.3 FM.
Hey, Bobo.
They did tell me that.
Trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do straws visit their friends?
Look!
Trailblazer Weekly is the official show of Dixie State Athletics. You can keep up with all the Trailblazer athletic action with pictures, stats, and game recaps at DixieStateAthletics.com. While you're at it, don't forget you can follow our show on Twitter as well with @DSUBlazerWeekly.
Welcome back inside Trailblazer Weekly. Well, as you know, things are bound to go wrong or just to get crazy from time to time on live television. Today we bring you the 2018-19 Trailblazer Weekly Gag Reel, where we take a look at the funniest happenings here on the set this season. And as we warned you before, we have not seen these. We have no idea what's coming.
Yeah,
So-
well, I mean, the only thing that we know is we taped a little bit. I mean, you'll see them. We kind of just, each of us introduced one of the clips, and I introduced one, and you introduced one, and we haven't communicated about what segment we introduced, and so I don't know what your segment is, and you don't know what my segment is, and so it's really just one of those situations where you're going to get our live reaction here on TV. We've not seen these before, and I'm excited to get it going.
I think what it is it's everyone behind the scenes, Lauren and James and Marcus. I think it's their way, and Trey and everybody, to get back at us for putting them through some misery this year and filming promos and doing things and just having an opportunity to laugh. No, it should be some fun. And like I said, we really don't have a big idea of what's going on here. I know there's 5. They've narrowed it down to the top 5 moments, the funniest moments from the year. You're going to see those now, and then you said what you're going to see the thing. They'll run it back, and then they'll have a picture-on-picture. So you'll see a smaller frame at the bottom, bottom right, I think it is, of your screen. And for you radio and internet radio listeners, we'll try to kind of describe what's going on afterward and let you know what it was. But you'll be able to see the moment, and then the picture-on-picture, you'll be able to see Drace and I's reaction to it. So I think we're ready to rock and roll. So we have time to finish this entire segment. So let's go. I don't know what direction it's counting down from, whether it's 5-1 or 1-5 or 2, then 3, then 1, then 4, then 5. I don't know. So let's go. Bring it on. Here we go. Funniest moments of Trailblazer Weekly for the 2018-19 season.
We start off our Trailblazer Weekly Rewind with the time Carrick couldn't remember the name of one very prominent, very historical American monument.
You get to make a trip to South Dakota. Have you ever been out there at all? Have you seen what's the monument in Rapid City? Mount Rushmore. What kind of American am I?
A great road trip for the volleyball team as they traveled to
South Dakota.
South Dakota Mines and Black Hill State, and that monument that you couldn't remember last week, which was...
the Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore, correct. But they did come back with a pair of wins against Black Hill State and South Dakota Mines. A really great road trip for them as well, going into the RMAC play this weekend.
And side note, they did go to Mount Rushmore on that trip. So it just was another reminder that, yes, last week I butchered something on the show. I could not remember the monument Mount Rushmore, even though I visited there last summer. But what a trip for volleyball. This team is on the end. Hey, look, for your TV viewers, we've got the picture up there on the screen. Mount Rushmore. How had I forgotten about that one? Somehow I had pushed that out of the back of my mind, and I was not even expecting that one. But that is certainly one of the top 5.
I was looking forward to making the joke about you not remembering the name, but I couldn't even remember the state. So I mean, that's kind of a double.
And that was a week later.
That was a week later. That was kind of a double whammy there. So
I
was so excited to look forward to kind of burning you on that.
The funny part is that I didn't notice the graphic until like the last time they did it. They put that up the week after like 2 or 3 or 4 times, and I didn't notice it until that last time. So Mount Rushmore, I will never forget the name of that monument in South Dakota ever again. And mostly every single one of our teams that has gone to South Dakota Mines this year has made that trip. It's been a good opportunity to, rain, snow, or shine. They've been able to go to Mount Rushmore. So I will not forget that name ever again.
Well, let's move down to number 4. I don't know how we're count. Let's go to the next one.
About the time when Carrick almost spoiled the surprise birthday present I'd gotten for my wife. The gift was limited edition City Edition Donovan Mitchell jersey. Here's the clip.
I'm Carrick Segmiller, and joining me as always is Drayson Ball.
Carrick, can you believe it? It's October 17th and the basketball season is already upon us. Can you believe it?
I cannot believe it, actually. But no, it's an exciting thing, and I know you're a big Utah Jazz fan. You got your getting ready to watch the Jazz play, and they start tonight, and basketball season's upon us.
That was truly, it was so funny because it was a huge surprise for my wife. Of course, she watches the show every week, and it was one of those. Just so you guys are aware, the City Edition jerseys had just come back in stock. They had been out of stock for like 8 months throughout the off season. They had just come back in stock before the regular season started, and I got 2 of them. Like within 5 minutes, they were sold out, and I had got 2 of them, and I was so excited to show my wife and have it be surprised. Her birthday wasn't until about 2 weeks after that, middle of November, and of course you almost just ruined it there on the live television.
I almost had to talk you in to waiting to give it to her for a few days because you were so excited to go, and so I was the one that talked you in to keeping it a surprise, and then because we'd been talking about it so much, 5 minutes later when we went live, I was ready to say you picked up the Donovan Mitchell jersey, and instead it came out you picked up you're gonna go watch the Jazz game tonight. So why are these all about me? Did any of these include Drayson? Who put these together? Goodness.
Well, I think they just know that I'm, a little bit better composed myself on live TV. Of course, I say that now the next 3 or 4 weekends.
This next one better be Drayson now. Let's go to the next one.
And of course, we can't forget that no matter how many times you rehearse something off air, for example, tossing a break or throwing a pen into a cup, things don't always go as planned on live TV.
Don't go away. We'll have more right after this timeout. Thanks for making us part of your day. We'll see you next week. Go Trailblazers. I nailed that shot in between the one where I actually did it going to break, and that one was just denied by the mug, right? Right there's a tennis ball in it now, so I wouldn't be able to do it. But
I think someone put the tennis ball there so that you would stop embarrassing yourself. Was that you? I don't remember that being there. So maybe that was you just putting it there as maybe a psychological thing that, hey, let's not embarrass myself anymore on live television. Let's not be able to throw it in there.
What you can't see actually is on the back of the tennis ball it says, "Do not throw pin this direction." I had to write myself a note so I don't do that anymore. Yeah, that was. Here I was trying to, make it seem like I was cool. We had a student athlete here. I was trying to show off my skills, and I think that ended the show. Yeah, it did end the show, and what I didn't plan on was missing it so poorly that I would still be on TV when I had the dang it kind of reaction, and you were left shaking your head. But that's happened plenty of times.
Well, that happens, I guess. Sometimes you just can't expect things on live television. So let's move down to our fourth clip. Let's see it.
Next up, we take a look at the time Drayson blamed me for the appearance of a certain prop on the set. And for the last time, it was not me. And welcome back inside Trailblazer Weekly. I'm not sure who placed that Dodgers hat there, but Drayson is probably going to be a little unhappy about that. I really did not know if that was coming, Drayson. I apologize. The Dodgers knocking out Drayson's Atlanta Braves, and he was over it until now. Like I said, I had no clue that was coming, buddy, so sorry about that.
I mean, I'm suspicious that anyone else in this room would even have a Dodgers hat. So there's probably one person to blame, and I feel like I know who it is. So
I gotta have a little fun here on the set, right? We gotta have fun.
I mean, if that's what you call fun, is harassing your co-host, then sure, let's have a little fun.
The funny thing about that is we came back from break and we were zoomed in up here on the locker back here, and I was panicked because I didn't know what was going on, and it took me forever until I actually turned around and looked at it. I didn't know that it was there. So you were making fun of me, and we were having this kind of moment where we weren't really zoomed in on anything, and I didn't even know that it was there until. And
what's that one? I've not seen that one. Is that on the front of the desk? What is this? Who would have the nerve? Get that out of here.
Redemption.
Get that out of here. They're up to second in the division, and Red Sox are still down at the bottom.
So, anyways, trolling with hats on the set is old hat to us now. No pun intended.
No pun intended. Oh man, that was a fun one. That was one. Like I said, and you forever you thought that I was behind that, and I really had no clue it was coming. And then I see it on the TV, and I thought, oh, we'll just run with this and we'll have fun with it. So
yeah, I had no idea until I actually turned around and physically saw it. I thought like our cameraman was just like sat down and didn't know that it was his turn to bring it in from break. So I was like, what the heck's going on?
Oh my goodness. Well, there's the top 4 moments, and there's so many. We could take probably a whole show on these. That there were enough, but we're gonna run back the top moment, the funniest moment on Trailblazer Weekly from the 2018-2019 season. I have an idea of what it might be, and I'll let you know if that hunch is correct right after you see this clip.
And last but not least, we'll feature my favorite episode of the season, the Trailblazer Weekly Halloween episode that was full of surprises, laughs, and lots of fun.
The Dixie State volleyball team returned to the Student Activity Center for, look at this, we got some trick-or-treaters. Trick-or-treat, we got some candy for you. Here we go. Let's get these buckets up here. Look, I've got football and a pumpkin and some pirates. This place is just wide open. Wait, why don't we just make this an open candy bucket policy? Pass them out, Drayson. Hook them up.
I'm doing my best, man. You know, I got some practice in the other day.
You did get some practice in, so that worked out fantastically. Wait. Is that Batman?
Yeah, Batman.
Batman making a cameo appearance here on Trailblazer Weekly.
The Trailblazers host.
Hello.
Sorry.
I have no idea what you're doing right now.
That's the word hallow.
I think you're just embarrassing yourself on live television. But
it's the word hallow.
I still am going to go down to my grave saying it's Halloween. It's pronounced Halloween.
I've got it right here.
Halloween.
Hallow is a verb. It means to honor as holy. Or as a noun, it is a saint or a holy person.
What does that have to do with anything with Halloween?
Halloween. It's sacred, and it's like the Day of the Dead.
Right? Don't make me throw my flag in to give you another sportsmanlike conduct penalty. So,
it's illegal use of the Halloween word. Oh my goodness.
I saw that hanging up there earlier, and I was wondering, why would they have that off screen so you can't even see it on camera? Obviously, now I know.
Wow.
Pretty scary.
Oh, man.
Halloween.
Halloween. I forgot.
How could we not forget?
I mean, I remember the show, but I can't. I don't have a memory of it going on that long, of that kind of just chaos. And it was a blast.
What I remember about that, I was expecting the bat clip. I had honestly forgotten about me interrupting you and Google searching the word hallow and you being completely confused as to what was going on. I had also kind of forgotten about the trick-or-treaters, the surprise that we had there. My favorite part, it might be my more favorite. Is that the proper way to say that?
What?
Like more favorite than the bat?
Favorite is the final.
Yeah, that's true. I might like it more than the clip where the bat coming down and me, getting scared almost out of my chair. Is in that clip when you see the trick-or-treater, like we watched them walk in the door to the studio over here, and I could see them coming, and I'm thinking the whole time, what is going on? Who is in here? Like, did somebody's kids come the wrong direction? Are they maybe coming so mom and dad can pick them up and take them trick-or-treating? But no, they walked right on it. So in the clip, you can actually see my eyes kind of glance over to the side. I didn't want to make like this big obvious move because we're live on television.
It wasn't like they were just coming straight here. They were kind of just meandering slowly. So we didn't know, like, stay out of the shot, or you're supposed to be coming here. Like, we had no idea what was going on. So you try to keep it together as they're kind of wandering into the shot. And I'm thinking, what are these people doing that don't know that we're filming an episode here, or taping something? So
it happened once, and then it happened again. I was more prepared for it the second time, and we both had a good laugh about how we didn't realize how big this table was actually until we were trying to drop candy in a bucket over, and we couldn't reach.
Whose candy baskets were 2 feet below the end of the desk. I mean, the desk here is probably about 3.5, 4 feet wide. So we're trying to reach over, plus the 2 feet down. So I mean, it was a mess.
I should have known something was up that day when Dave Harris was here, and I shouldn't just say he was here on a couple of different episodes and helping, but he was out here with a camera to have different angles of our reactions.
Yeah.
And should have known something. That was fun. Like, next year we're gonna have to do more of those themed. We dressed the setup for the Christmas, for the holiday season as well. We missed a couple of shows in that stretch though, so we didn't get to. That was probably my favorite. What I liked about doing this too is you got to see kind of the evolution of the set and where we started from the start of the year to halfway through the year to the Halloween set, and then we didn't, obviously didn't get to see the Christmas and the holiday dress up, but that was, the holiday dress up was probably my favorite. It just looked awesome out here, and we should take the time to thank Marcus and Lauren and James and Trey and all their students. I wish I had a list of everyone working on the show today and everyone that had worked on the show all year long, because none of this happens without them and without their help. So just incredible year. It's been fun. We're going to do one more show next week. We're going to show you the top 10 plays. We wanted to do that this week, but like Jason said earlier in the show, there's so many things that happened. The tennis championship, Billy Hatch, Celeste Fiammi, everything going on. We had to have kind of a regular show and then throw this into it. And we're almost out of time, so we're really not going to get a true preview. You can look quickly ahead. Softball, RMAC tournament, and then baseball is going to Mesa as well.
RMAC tournament against number 6 UCCS on Thursday. They need to win out in order to have a chance to get into the postseason play. And then, like we mentioned earlier, all season long we've been looking forward to this matchup. Baseball taking on Colorado Mesa in Grand Junction. 4 games to determine the RMAC champion.
Well, there you go. It's I don't want to call it like the final episode because we're doing a show next week, but really the final, the season finale, if you will. Next week we're just going to do a top 10 plays show. So our time is gone on this edition and really the season of Trailblazer Weekly. It's in the books. Remember, you can watch the show anytime on demand at youtube.com/Dixie State Athletics. For Drayson Ball, for the entire CEC TV crew, for Martin Kelly rocking with us in the Radio Dixie 91.3 FM studio all season long. We appreciate all of you guys. For all of everyone here on set, I'm Carrick Segmiller. Thanks for making us part of your day and your year. We'll see you next week for the Top 10 Play Show. In the meantime, go Trailblazers.
Oh, trick-or-treaters. Oh, you guys are scary. Here's some candy. Okay, see ya. Oh, another group. Great. Oh, your costumes are great. Here's some candy. Oh, man, we're getting busy.
Really? What are you doing over here?
I'm just practicing, for trick-or-treaters. Halloween's coming up.
Right now? We got a show in like 10 minutes.
I know, but I just thought, just real quickly, Halloween, is on its way, and I just thought, I could get some practice in.
No one's going to come trick-or-treat at your house.
Well, I mean, you don't know that.
We got to run lines. We got to
Tune into our special Halloween episode of Trailblazer Weekly this Wednesday at 3 p.m.